Oscar dominated China 2025, so naturally, the narrative was all about Lando. Yeah, we need to talk.
Ni hao, Papaya Koala here with Formula One facts, fiction, and all the bits that McLando would rather you didn't notice. Just a reminder, this is opinion, parody, and a bit of silliness. No facts were harmed in the making of this video, although a few narratives might be. It's a ripper of a day for some F1 action, fair dinkum, but first, ni hao from the Great Wall. So after Australia, when McLando all but admitted that qualifying matters more than race pace, Oscar Quokka realised that if he wants any shot at the lead, then he needs to improve his qualifying. He works hard between Oz and China. Every spare moment on the sims, practising, and Lando, well, he's out playing golf with Fat Rat Brown, reinforcing his favourite child status. Does it work? Why, yes, it does. Oscar Quokka sticks it on pole. And Lando? Well, yes, he is still the favourite child, but let's see if he can keep that title on the track today. Lights out! And Oscar leads cleanly, calmly, beautifully. Textbook stuff. You'd think McLando would be thrilled, right? Haha. No. Absolutely not. Why? Because Lando was sitting 4 to 5 seconds back, whining on the radio like someone swapped his premium oat milk for home brand soy. George is about the same distance back. So it's not like Oscar's dirty air was choking Lando. Lando just wasn't fast enough to stay within a bus stop of his teammate. But that didn't stop the complaints. And this is where the McLando spin cycle starts up again. Remember Australia, when Oscar's tyres were cooked because he was forced to sit in Lando's DRS for half the race? And the team blamed Oscar for poor tyre management. Well, here in China, when Lando can't stay within 5 seconds of Oscar, suddenly dirty air is a tragic, unavoidable act of God. Amazing how physics only applies to one side of the garage. Oscar's doing everything right. Calm, controlled, perfect racecraft, and then the pit stop happens. Oscar's stop? 1.6 seconds slower than Lando's. And the sheep commentary? Maybe a little slow? Oh well, let's move on. How great is Lando? If Lando had a stop half a second slow, they'd hold a 6-part documentary. Oscar rejoins further back than he deserves thanks to the slow stop, but he claws back the lead like a professional. Lando has now spent the entire race so far whining on the radio about anything and everything. Tyres, dirty air, George, you name it. Wise Owl Will tells Lando,
"We've asked for the car ahead to help you."
and then Snake starred with that radio call.
Oscar, can you let Lando squeeze up to you to protect him from George?
The same George who is almost as far behind Lando as Lando is behind Oscar. Sure. Totally normal request. Nothing suspicious here at all. Just your average. Please compromise your entire race so our golden boy feels safe instruction. But Oscar, being a team player, slows down gently. No brake check, no drama. Makes it look like Lando is catching him. And what does Lando do?
You tell him to speed up because I'm in his dirty air and I don't want to ruin my tyres.
So yes, the plan was obvious. Slow Oscar, give Lando DRS, claim Lando is faster to order Oscar to move aside. It's the 2024 playbook, dusted off and ready to go, yep. But Oscar doesn't fall for it. He politely increases pace again the moment Lando pretends to be held up. And then Snake Stallard enters the chat. Stallard, who has spent the entire race giving Oscar lap-by-lap updates on Lando, like a jealous ex stalking their ex's Instagram stories.
Lando is 4.3. Oscar, Lando is 4.2. Oscar, acknowledge. Oscar, Oscar.
All while Oscar's water bottle is broken and he's cooking alive in the cockpit. Then Stallard does the thing. He tells Oscar to change to a setting that immediately makes his car paupers. Then, of course, Snake plays dumb.
Advice from before the race, less tight turn 7 entry.
Basically suggesting,
Oh, Oscar, that's just your driving.
Right, because Oscar's driving magically changes the millisecond he flips the setting you asked for. But even with the bouncing and the heat, Oscar extends the lead to over 5 seconds. Cue Lando complaining, again, this time whinging about a long brake pedal, which wise Owl Will, his engineer, casually mentions, has been like that from the start. Telemetry? Unchanged. But Lando insists it's worse, because if something is wrong, it must be the car, right? Certainly not the driver. Eventually, his team tells him to chill and nurse the brakes.
Better to finish second than not at all.
Cue the classic Lando snort of entitlement. And then, because of course he pushes anyway, going for fastest lap purely so Oscar can't have it. You know, the typical favourite child vibes. If you won't give me the win, then I'm going to steal the fastest lap. He gets it, damaging the brakes he was supposed to be nursing, and almost loses second to George. And Oscar? He just wins. Cool, calm, clinical. Oscar does what Oscar always does. Calmly thanks the team. Then Snake jumps on the radio to helpfully explain the finishing order, but also making very sure everyone knows about Lando's long brake pedal. Because obviously, if Oscar wins, it's important the entire world understands that it wasn't on merit, it was only because Lando had issues. And why say it over Oscar's radio? Simple. Oscar won, so the broadcast is on his channel, right? Perfect opportunity to rewrite the narrative live. You know, it was not Oscar-dominated, but Lando nearly won despite adversity. The irony? A winning Oscar is basically invisible to the media. So his thank you never gets aired, and Snake's little narrative correction never lands either. Instead of Oscar's win being reframed as Lando's heroic almost win, it just disappears into the void. More fool you, Snake. And the celebrations? What celebrations? This was Oscar who won, remember? Spineless Stella gives him the world's most lukewarm,
Yes, good job, you're learning.
like a teacher politely praising the kid who solved the maths problem the wrong way but still got the right answer. Then Fat Rat Brown shows up with his signature begrudging pat on the shoulder, the polar opposite of how he practically crowd surfs Lando when Lando wins. And the sheep media? Oscar's either too boring because he doesn't jump around, or so arrogant if he actually dares to celebrate because it might upset poor Lando. There's no winning for Oscar, even when he wins. And Lando, he says the car was too difficult to drive. Not Oscar was just better than me all weekend. Not I ignored my engineer and pushed when I didn't have to and stuffed up my brakes. Nope. Blame the car. In other words, if my car was the same as Oscar's, I would have for sure beaten him. Yeah, sure you would. But the truth is simple. Oscar dominated China 2025. Despite team bias, strategy shenanigans, media bias, engineering competence, and a teammate who thinks complaining is a driving technique. And that is why the fans love him. Because Oscar performs even when the deck is stacked against him. And just when you thought the Ferroro Stallions' chaos quota was full after last year, both stallions were yeeted out of the results sheet with a double disqualification. Lewis got pinged for plank wear, which basically means his car was set up lower than my expectations for a fair sprint. So now even his win has a little asterisk-shaped cloud floating over it. Hit like and subscribe, it's free. And enjoy the Papaya version of the same story, told slightly differently. Or join if you'd like to financially support changing the narrative responsibly. Oh, all the different tales? You noticed, huh? I like dressing up. Got a problem with that?